This video is showing the operation of the Eclipse plugin. It's an Eclipse IDE plugin that allows programming in Java for people with functional diversity. That is, makes easier the Java programming for people with problems with sight problems or with mobility problems mainly, and it can be executed from the corresponding project manager run as Eclipse application option. You can see that it starts what is the application and presents an environment that you can see here, that you have typical Eclipse view. You have the editor, you have the project manager, the outlines and so on, and apart from that you have the Eclipse plugin view available, where you can see the same code that you have in the editor view, but with a different background, with different colors for the fonts and so on. Apart from that, you have 4 buttons for making the font bigger or smaller, for recognizing speech or for synthesizing speech. This dark zone is the zone where all the actions will be reflected, and all these actions will be mimicked here in the editor view. Therefore, we can perform several operations here in this by using this plugin, and all this operation will be reflected in what is the corresponding editor view. We're going to see some examples about how to use the Eclipse plugin, the different options. For example, this first button is for increasing the font size. If we use this button, we can see that in the dark zone, in what is the Eclipse plugin view, the font becomes bigger and allows people with sight severe damages to see it with it more easily. It can be decreased as well in order to make it to fit the size of the font to the corresponding to the more comfortable for the programmer. And apart from that, in case that you have a very severe SEC disease, you can use as well what is the speech synthesis in order to know what is the code you are encoding. For example, if you select correspondence, you can hear now by pressing this button. As you can see, the synthesis is not very good, but it can be improved by using other models different from that Java allows to use by default. Apart from that, the main functionality of this environment is that you can dictate a code, and we are going to show an example by dictating a code that is for printing on the screen numbers from 0 to 9, and we are going to develop the complete program, the complete main method for that. For that, we have to push this button. It will become red, indicating that it's recording, and we have to push again for stopping what is the recording and performing the recognition. And now we are going to see how to dictate this complete program, and we start with the main header. Public static void main open parenthesis string open bracket close bracket args close parenthesis open brace. As you can see here, the recognition is quite good, only has problems with the identifiers, since we have to use spelling for these identifiers, and sometimes it becomes very difficult recognizing each letter by separate. We're going to correct this for avoiding difficulties in the posterior encoding. And we're going to start with variable declaration now. Int I equals 0 semicolon. As you can see, it was perfect recognition. And now we're going to start with a while loop that will allow for printing the different numbers from 0 to 9. While open parenthesis I lower 1 0 close parenthesis open brace. As you can see, recognition was perfect as well. Now we're going to print the corresponding number, that is the body of the loop, by printing the corresponding number and increasing in 1 the counter. System.out.println open parenthesis I close parenthesis semicolon. In this line, the only problem was with this inclusion of this identifier there in that place that is not correct. It can be corrected quite easily. And now we are passing to the incrementing the counter. I++ semicolon. Recognition was perfect again. We are going to close what is the body of the loop, and we are going to close what is the main method. Close brace. Close brace. As you can see here in the editor, the program is perfectly written, no warning, no errors appear, are detected by the compiler, and we can execute this by using the corresponding option, run as Java application, example Java, and you can see that the numbers are printed from 0 to 9 as was expected.